Well, what can I say? We've arrived in Sarajevo at Camp Zlatisti, and look at the view. I mean, wow, that's incredible, isn't it? Yeah, so this is Camp Zlatisti. It's a park for night location in Sarajevo. You make your way into Sarajevo and then it's quite a steep climb. It's nothing impossible, don't worry. It's just a steep climb out of the city, up and around the back of this mountain that we find ourselves on, and then it brings you around to this location here. Two sisters run it, and you need to book in. I booked in. She's just turned 2 away, so you do need to book in to reserve your place, especially if you're over 7 meters like we are. She did walk up to the motorhome as we parked up and said, are you booked in? I said, yeah, we're booked in. Give her our name, and then she confirmed that we had a place, so that was good. The entrance, you just need to take your time, go nice and slow. There's a signpost in here. It's got, as you like to think, it's got showers, it's got fresh water, it's got all the amenities. It's a short distance, about 3 kilometers down to Sarajevo. You can either walk down or get a taxi down. But we are going to meet up with friends to go and explore Sarajevo. That's a beautiful view, that, isn't it? We're hopefully going to go to Mount Igman tomorrow, just for a ride out. I want to go to the car park where David Rowlands did his painting of 19 Regiment come into action on Mount Igman. So we're going to have something to eat now, a snack, and then we will go from there. So welcome to Sarajevo, and today we've got a guided tour. A few of the friends we found and met whilst we're on holiday. So that's City Hall over there, and basically with City Hall, that was built but under condition that this Spice House to the right hand side used to be in the same location as the City Hall, and the guy dug his heels in and said, you know, I'm not prepared to have my house knocked down, you must move it brick by brick to another location. So they did. They moved it from that location over there where City Hall is to over there. So as I've said before just then, we have Edna and Sami as our guides today, so we are really fortunate to have 2 people that actually live here to guide us around what is a lovely city, really lovely city, steeped in history, you know. We're going to go to the actual bridge where Franz Ferdinand was assassinated, and we're going to go to the old town, and we're going to go to the tunnels as well, along with a load of other places.
You can see the motorhome place below that building there is where we are.
Oh yeah, we are, aren't we?
Yeah.
So the black building you can see on the horizon, our location is just below that where the motorhome is, overlooking the city of Sarajevo. So already, you know, we're seeing signs of the 1990s war and the horrible things that went on. Probably more about that later as we go from the bridge, 16th century bridge, across and then into the town hall. So you pay a bit of a fee to get in here, into the town hall. But then you're treated to this, and we have asked whether you can take photographs, and yes, you can take photographs, and there are a few people doing it. But this has all been rebuilt because in '92 there were some atrocities that happened, and this was all wrecked. During the Bosnian conflict. Of the early 90s. How beautiful is that? So basically we've come into City Hall, we've come up the stairs over to the left hand side, down there, and now we're greeted with this. Like you know, considering this has been rebuilt since the early 90s, Edna was saying that they keep doing little bits and little bits and little bits. She came here a few years ago and it wasn't as sort of colourful as this. It really is special. So in '92 there was you saw the sign outside, there was an atrocity where they burnt hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of books in here, and just when they really laid waste to the whole town. I mean, the town was under siege for a long, long time, and we'd go into the tunnels that they were bringing food and water in. We're going to go to those later. This city's got a very, very complex past. There's a part of the city that belongs to Srpska, but any deeper than that explanation, I'm not even going to attempt to go any further because of the complex nature of the city. I would only mess it up and probably offend someone or a group of people. So like everything, when I mention, you know, the war in the early 90s, I'll probably refer to the combatants, not name sides. And for those that know, understand which side did what, and for those that don't need to. Or, if you need to, you can read about it elsewhere from some place or someone much more educated than I am on the matter. I think that's the safest approach to take. But this is super impressive. It's super impressive in that, you know, it's not the biggest city in the world, but all of it, you know, I'd say 95% has been rebuilt since the early 90s. So I kind of skimmed this on my walk around, but having paid a lot more attention to it now, there is a whole wall of an explanation of the potted history of both Bosnia-Herzegovina and Sarajevo itself. Well worth a visit to come and just ponder over the really complex background that both Sarajevo and Bosnia-Herzegovina has suffered. So in one of the upper rooms, You've got all the mayors of Sarajevo, from way back in time to the most current one. There's a couple of scary people looking around here. Look at this. What's in there, Wendy?
It's like a set up of a
Ooh.
room.
Can I come through?
Yep, sorry.
Stiamo parlando del 1800, quel che là.
So as we go on into another side room, another sort of reminder of the Ottoman Empire and the harem, or harem, is the balcony above us, where the master of the house's wives, plural wives, used to look down from, with their covered veils when the visitors were around. This really is splendid. So much work gone into recreating this from what, you know, from what was a bombed out, ruined building in the early 90s. So as a reminder, as we walk around the town hall, about the war crimes tribunal, and you're actually allowed to walk around one of the locations where some of the hearings took place, and you can see on the wall there the sequence of events for the decisions that were made as a result of the horrendous and horrific things that happened on all sides during that war. So Wendy's just sort of beckoned me through to this room through here. And we get a physical reminder with the couch cases on the floor. So it's not for this video to go into any great detail, but there are reminders on the walls of the horrendous actions that went on during those years. So we've left the City Hall now. City Hall's just there, and we're now going to walk down to have a bite to eat. So I apologise if that got a little deep, but pretty much the history we're reminded of quite a few times as you walk around Sarajevo. There's obviously a mortar, or a, you know, small arms. It's probably too big for small arms. Black mark there. So now we've moved down that food street, and we've gone to where the locals eat, and we're eating cevapi, which is this dish here, and you can see the sausage and the bread and the onions. Absolutely gorgeous. I've ordered 10 and Wendy's ordered 5. We're having cokes, and then we're going to walk down the street and do some more sightseeing. But I thought I'd just point out the cevapi because it is really, really nice and really tasty. You must have some when you come to Sarajevo. So it was absolutely delicious, and this is the place we stopped at. And you can find it straight down from the town hall. So we've just walked from the town centre, taking the back roads like we like to do. And we've just been shown all these paintings on the walls, all hidden away in the streets. Gonna make our way back to the car now, and then we're gonna visit the survivors' tunnels, the war tunnels. So while I'm taking some footage there, we are reminded yet again of the troubles in the early 90s by the pot marks in the walls. But as Edna says, you know, it's pretty much all over the place in Sarajevo. So we've now arrived at the tunnels, the survivors' tunnels in Sarajevo, and we've parked up. It's actually quite far away from the city. It's near the airport. We went all the back roads, which was great. I am going to stop talking about the splat marks and bullet marks because they're pretty much evident when you look hard. It's pretty much evident throughout the whole of the city. There's still loads of evidence, so I'm going to shut up about that now. And we are going to look what the tunnel experience is like. So this is the entrance that you've just seen. Car parks opposite. There's a big car park to the right hand side. You pay yourself there. Pay in there, and then you come through into the display area. Yeah, we have tickets. So what do you do? Scan it? Kafala. Morning. So you scan your ticket and in you come. So it's a point to discussion about whether you can film around here or not. But I'm going to do it until someone says stop. And I think the tunnels, you're going there. So we've just walked into the information part of the tunnel experience, and you see this map, and you can hear the video going on the right hand side. The video is just a piece of history that shows you how the tunnel was dug and how it was used. But the location 7 there, that's where David Rowling took the image from of 19 Regiment Royal Artillery bringing the guns into action on Mount Igman. And we're going to visit there tomorrow on the way to Mostar. But you can see they were well and truly surrounded with it. The tunnel, it's been rubbed off. Loads and loads of people have pointed at it obviously over the years, but the tunnel is here and it runs from one side of the runway to the other side of the runway. 800 metres. I think they dug it in about 4 months. See the road to Mostar. Excuse the noise, the video is running constantly. You can see the Mostar split, the Bolfnik marker there, the directions, and then the Malo Polje car park on Mount Igman. But more about that tomorrow. Yeah, the noise in the background, it's one of those videos that run like constantly. So I'm now gonna go back. Wendy, the tunnel's this way. Okay. So I've actually walked past one of the main tunnel examples. Actually, I think it was actually the main tunnel itself. But that's pretty much showing the same thing, only a different location. And this one shows where it says 92 to 96, so obviously that was some kind of indication of where the bombs landed. The town hall that we've just been in, we've just seen it in flames on the video that we've just seen, and of course that's the tunnel location there where we are now. What a time, eh? I believe that the time under siege was to force them into giving up the airport, I think. I'm not entirely sure on that one though. Or it was just another part of their ethnic cleansing.
So that's the exit back there.
Okay, the tunnel thing was back there, love.
Yeah, but that's the exit from the tunnel.
Okay, oh okay.
Town hall.
Yeah. Just been inside there. That was that lovely quaint building that we've just been inside. The one that we saw in flames on the video. You saw the red marks in town on the floor. And just more, you know, more evidence of what absolute horrible experience they had in the 90s. The UN vehicles at Sarajevo airport. More construction pictures. And of course to the right of me now is the modern day Sarajevo airport, as you can see there. In fact, the plane's just taking off. Right, that's the entrance to the tunnel experience. So I'm now going to walk back and take you through the actual tunnel itself. Now GoPros are notorious of about not liking dark situations, so still going to take the footage, and then when I get to edit I'm going to try and make it lighter. Hope you're enjoying this experience of Sarajevo. If you are, please like and even subscribe if you are interested in watching any other of our videos. Subscribing is obviously free, and it does send a message to myself and the wife and others on exactly what you'd like me to film. I'm going to go into this side and down. Anyone coming through? So now walking down into the tunnel entrance. I think there's about 180 metres maybe of tunnel that they have reconstructed. Yeah. It is dark, like I've said previously.
It's cold down here. Go down there.
You know?
No.
Okay, mate, I'll see you up top.
Sure.
And this is how they used to transport all the food through and the manpower back in to fight the resistance. But you can imagine, you know, we were seeing on the videos that it would not have been like this, that's for sure. Overhead there'd be shelling going on, there'd be fighting at one end, and there'd be food convoys trying to get into the other end. But obviously all of that time they were trying to find out where the food was getting in and getting out, and then trying to bomb that location, to destroy that location, to stop the movement of food and munitions. And this would have been really damp, you know, flooded in areas, really tight, really claustrophobic, so nowhere near what we're walking through today. Just gives you a sort of an indication of what it was like in the best of conditions, really. But it took them 4 months to dig, to get all the services put through, some kind of makeshift lighting system, all on rails. And on the video you did see ammunition and weapons moving through here as well, so it'll be, you know, weapons, munitions and manpower going in, casualties, food, and yeah, so casualties coming out as well, and food going in. So that's as far as this goes. That's a view down there, and it goes up top again, I think. Yeah, it does. So this place is not easy to find, but as you can hear, there's one massive indicator of where it is located, or the general area, towards the end of the airport. And that's a tunnel experience. Well worth a visit, I think. Especially for people, you know, interested in the military, those that were here at the time doing the UN tasking. And just to remember what a torrid time Sarajevo went through at that time, you know, under siege. Probably one of the last recorded sieges there is.
I'll take a photo of it.
I'm really liking this walk round. So we've obviously done a little bit of the town now. Do the town hall, done the tunnels, and now we're going to move on. I think we're going to move to the old town, and then we're going to talk about the Archduke Franz Ferdinand. So we've made a slight detour to the spring of Bosnia, and this is probably the biggest spring I've ever seen. All this water coming out of the ground at one point, just under the sort of the bridge there, as it were. And this is the start of the River Bosna. Is it correct? Bosna? River Bosna? Yeah. Now, it must be lucky to touch the water, because our path is well used, and there's been about 4 groups go down there and touch the water. And here's another 2 willing volunteers to prove that fact. There you go. Wendy, come push him in. For the video. For the video.
No,
Come
I'm
on.
not going to push him in.
Okay. It'd be good video.
She thought about it for a second though.
Yeah, I'm sure she would have done, yeah.
What?
She would have done. So the spring that you've just seen in the distance there, that actually comes from under Mount Ignan. Fucking hell. Mount Ignan. Thank you. Apologies for swearing. And it produces, along with the other springs in the area, 6,000 litres a second. Which just seems bizarre, doesn't it? But this is the River Bosna. This is where Sarajevo gets, I think the sign said 96% of its water supply from here. Which kind of makes sense. Having this natural resource on your doorstep. So you go from the horrors of the tunnels to the tranquility of the Bosna Park. Quite lovely. And we're going to have a coffee and a beer. So they do say that local knowledge beats everything, don't they? And look at this. The original Roman bridge entrance to Sarajevo. Along with a family of swans and their two cygnets. That's quite cool, isn't it? So we're back in Sarajevo and we're just wandering down beside the river Milachka, and the bridge over there is so important to this city and so important for world events actually. So every day you know, you and I make decisions and do things that change events, our own events, and in some cases don't change much more than our own personal surroundings and our immediate family, and don't sort of intentionally affect other things. But in 1914, June 1914, Franz Ferdinand was assassinated on that bridge. The Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria, he was here visiting the royal family of then Yugoslavia, and whilst he was driving over the bridge, or rather walking over the bridge, he was assassinated. That one event, compared to what I've just told you about you know, the things that you and I do every day, that one event changed history of the world forever. It was a catalyst. Now at the time, in 1914, there was a lot of bickering going on within the state of Austro-Hungary. And this one event caused the start of the First World War, was a direct result of the start of the First World War. There were many things going on in world events that were causing a spark. Sorry about the car to the left hand side. It's a local driven disco. Anyway, that one event, that little spark, set world events off. There was many problems in the area at the time. Germany, Hungary, Austria, Slovakia, Slovenia, you know, they sort of, all those areas were near to conflict. And then the First World War started. And when I say a catalyst, do you imagine after the First World War? Well, the First World War led to the Second World War because of, you know, the ill feelings of the Germans feeling cheated after the results of the First World War led to the Second World War, and then from the Second World War, well, then we had the Cold War as a direct result of the Second World War, and then come the end of the Cold War, we had the breakup of Yugoslavia into the 6 states that we have now. It's come full circle, so it's affected now the build-up of the old Yugoslavia to now Bosnia and Herzegovina. And it was such a famous event, that assassination of Franz Ferdinand, Archduke Franz Ferdinand, that you know, it's somewhere where you just ponder on what would have happened if that event didn't happen, you know, all that time ago. So that's the Latin Bridge. And we've just walked down through town, and we're probably going to walk into the old town, which is supposed to be really nice. But I just thought I'd spend time explaining, you know, the Latin Bridge and what happened on there in June 1914, and the consequences of what happened after that as a result of that one action. And you compare it to the actions that you and I take on a personal basis, how that one event caused the change of the world events, you know, thereafter. Very famous location. Okay, onward and out, upward. So we're just wandering around central Sarajevo now, and that building there is MOD Bosnia and Herzegovina, and you can see through the gap on the horizon the black hotel on top of the hill. That's actually just above our motorhome location. We're a mere 150 metres just below that. So just talking there to Samia, and Edna, and she was just saying, I wish Sarajevo wasn't known for something so gruesome as the, you know, the catalyst that started the First World War. Well, you know, it was going to happen anyway, wasn't it? It was going to spark off somewhere. There was so much unrest in the world at the time that a spark was going to be formed anywhere, and it just happened to be here. So we're walking down the main street now, Sarajevo, and this is the main cathedral in Sarajevo. It's called the Cathedral of the Heart of Jesus. Unfortunately, we're too late to go in. We're going to walk down the high street down here, and you may see on the distance, in the distance, as the horizon, there is an old derelict building, and that's actually called Yates Barracks. It's an old military barracks that was used to look over Sarajevo before the 90s. So as the high street comes down, you leave the Austro-Hungarian section, you go into the Ottoman section of the city, which basically means you go into the old town, as referred to by the people from Sarajevo. So now we're at the Beg's Mosque, and I'm just trying to be a bit careful because it's actually it's obviously a site of prayer. So rather than be that tourist with a camera in someone's face when they're trying to pray, I'd rather just stand to the back. And to our right is Sarajevo's clock tower. I've heard tell you can actually go up there to look around, but that won't be today. I think it's closed. So just to orientate you again, that's the roof garden hotel up on the horizon there. Just below it is a motorhome area, and this is the main street of the old town, and it comes round, and that's the Sibilia, which is a meeting place for the old town. And around the bottom there's like a sink area that people can get water from, and it's just a gathering place for people through the ages in the old town, and it remains a gathering area now actually, you know, cafe culture in the area. So this is our dinner, and this is called pita, and you get it in a long sort of puff pastry form. It comes filled with cheese, with meat, with potato and with spinach, all different, as in different fillings, but it's really nice. You must try it when it comes to Bosnia, really nice. I'm going to switch this off now because obviously people are eating, so you don't want people filming when you're eating really. Fantastic meal. So that's the place there, we've just had dinner, and really that ends our delightful visit to Sarajevo as we walk out of the city now. We've been excellently hosted by our good friends Samia and Edna, and now we're going to walk out, and I think we're going to get a taxi. See you later. So we've left Sarajevo now, and what a beautiful city, beautiful place, wonderful company as well. And now we are up at Mount Igman, and this is a painting painted by David Rawlings. At the Malo Polje car park up on Mount Igman. For those people in 19 Regiment, you'll remember it well, because this is a picture that David Rawlings did of bringing the guns into action for 19 Regiment. You'll know it well. It's probably on your mess wall. Sorry about the reflection. I tried to do it without reflection but failed. However, what we have got is the real thing. The view from the Mario Polje car park. So here was where that very gun position was, and even that, you know, from the days of the conflict, even that is just, my hairs are standing on their end, on my arms and my legs. It's just the feeling of stepping back in time. I didn't experience this myself, but the people who watched the Sarajevo video probably did, if they're ex-military of an era, sorry, serving in that era. So as I swing down here, I bet you some people are saying, that's where my gun was, that's where we were based, that's where the CP was, that's where I slept. So this is where the UN fired in defence for the first time, I am led to believe, from this car park. That's the start of the ski lifts down there, and obviously you can see the ski lift that goes up there, and what you can see there is the 1984 ski jumps. All abandoned now. In fact, the building over there, you can still see it says UN on it. I love coming to places like this. On the picture that David Rowlings did, you can see that it's all snow covered. What an experience, coming back to this place. It's like I said, I wasn't here. I did January to July '96 tour, but it felt important to come back here, to come here just to connect old to new, really. With the one final view of the infamous car park where this event took place, firing in defence of the UN, and the old ski jumps from 1984. We're going to sign off there. I hope that was useful and provoked some memories for some people. But we're going to sign off there, and we're now going to head down to Mostar today. We might stop off at the Conic Bridge. Depends how we get on. But from a very, very famous car park, as far as 19 Regiment's concerned, I bid you farewell.